So, welcome back to another mighty fine presentation production training video on presentations. Today we will be looking at strong starts and conclusions. Of course, to grab your audience's attention, you really should have a nice strong start to have some impact to your presentations, and to have your audience take action when they walk out the door. A strong conclusion is also a must. So let's have a look at what we'll be looking at today. First, we'll be looking at what exactly are strong starts and how can we use them, and what exactly are strong conclusions and how can we use them. So what better way than to have a look at some examples. So let's have a couple of examples from the great website www.ted.com.
Few years I've been had the opportunity to do this closing conference, and I've had some incredible warm-up acts. About 8 years ago, Billy Graham opened for me, and
Alright, that's a wonderful example of using some humor. At the beginning you have to be pretty confident to pull that one off, and of course this guy does. So let's have a look at another one. So that was a great strong start by the very funny Tom Riley. Now let's look at another one, a bit more sobering, by Stacy Kramer, and you can see her presentation on www.ted.com, and she uses 3 techniques. The first technique being personal experience and story, and also an analogy. So let's have a look and see how she uses those, and I'll give a description on how she uses those
to picture it in your mind.
Coming up shortly.
It's not too big, about the size of a golf ball. So envision what it looks like all wrapped up. But before I show you what's inside, I will tell you it's going to do incredible things for you. It will bring all of your family together. You will feel loved and appreciated like never before, and reconnect with friends and acquaintances you haven't heard from in years. Adoration and admiration will overwhelm you. It will recalibrate what's most important in your life. It will redefine your sense of spirituality and faith. You'll have a new understanding and trust in your body. You'll have unsurpassed vitality and energy. You'll expand your vocabulary, meet new people, and you'll have a
Right, and I guess some of you are curious as to what she's talking about, and again you can see her on www.ted.com, but she's talking about her near-fatal brain tumor. So let's look at what exactly are strong starts. In a word, strong starts are speaks, and what does speak stand for? Story, personal experience, expert opinion, analogy, quotes, yeah, I know I spelled that wrong, and statistics. So let's have a look at the first one, story. So the first one, story, tell a story that everyone can relate to. So for example, Joe Smith was hired to be a Santa at the mall last year. He was very happy to get the job, and he loved to make children happy. Unfortunately, he didn't invest in a good beard, so the children all saw Joe Smith, not Santa. It was a disappointing Christmas for Joe and, of course, many young children. So let's look at how we can avoid this. So let's look at the next one. And the next one is personal experience. Share something to create an emotional bond. For example, I remember going to see Santa for the first time when I was 6. He looked like the Santa in my picture book. I knew he was the real thing, and I'd get what I asked for. And I did. I was the happiest kid in the world that Christmas. You can use expert opinions to gain trust. For example, I was having lunch with Santa himself, and he said that Some fake beards on the market are even better than mine. The real thing, ho ho ho. And then we have analogy. What is an analogy? Paint the picture to explain complicated information, such as the best way to describe our beards is like hugging your trusted teddy bear when you were young. That's what our beards deliver: comfort, trust, and familiarity. So yeah, you can use quotes. Quotes can be used, famous words or words from respected people, such as from Santa Claus directly. So he said, quotes, my beard's pretty cool, but these beards from Whitebeard are pretty darn kick-ass, I'll tell you that much. Unquote. So if you can get him to verify that, you got yourself some pretty good sales. Let's move on to statistic. So use some numbers to add impact and some clarity. For example, 100% of Santas have beards. 100% of people without beards aren't Santas. 100% of the time. Where can you find your Santa beard this Christmas? And let's look at some humor. And let's not forget humor. Laughing loosens them up and enhances memory retention. Of course, humor is cross-cultural, so you have to be careful with this one and make sure that you are addressing the culture. And but one that I really love that involves questioning as well as humor, and that always gets a good chuckle, is, how many of you have either heard me before or this will be your first time? Let me see your hands, please. So once again, how many of you have either heard me before or this will be your first time? Raise your hands, please. But of course, everybody will raise their hands. Think about that one.
Taking the third side. So let me invite you to consider taking the third side, even as a very small step. We're about to take a break in a moment. Just go up to someone who's from a different culture, a different country, a different ethnicity, some difference, and engage them in a conversation. Listen to them. That's a third side act. That's walking Abraham's path. After a TED Talk, why not a TED Walk? So let me just leave you with 3 things. One is, the secret to peace is the
cereal. And that, my friends, is how we can make a difference, one kid at a time. So next time you're at the grocery store, think local. Choose organic, know your farm, and know your food. Thank you.
Alright, so both those examples don't introduce any new information. They use very powerful words, and they both have a call to action. One being you go out there and you talk with people, and the other being eat organic foods or think about what you eat and promise them hope for the future. They both promise a very bright future, healthier future, and a future with less terrorism, basically. So a call to action is just exactly what you want the audience to do after they walk out the door. It could be anything you'd like, and just make it very clear and promising hope for the future. Even though you're delivering some bad news, end on a positive note. That's what they want to hear, and that will have a much higher impact in the end. So again, just these tips will help you, but use them with the other 9 and you'll have even more dynamic and memorable presentations. So be sure to visit us at mightyfinepresentations.com for ebooks and more videos, and also some mentoring programs and some tutoring programs and online video training. Yeah, please have a visit and let us know what you think. Thank you again for your time, and hopefully we'll see you in the next little presentation. All right, cheers. Bye-bye.